Good evening and welcome to the Sixth Form Open Evening. This short video is just going to give you a little insight into the A-Level PE or Sports Studies qualification. It's a really great course as it's actually taught by 3 different teachers. 70% of the course is exam based, so we've got quite a lot of content to cover, but it's all very interesting. Meaning 30% is part written coursework, but also part practical coursework. So you do need to be quite accomplished in one particular sport because that's the one you're going to be assessed in. My name is Mr. Cummings and I'm the head of PE at the Gryphon, so I'm really looking forward to meeting you as soon as possible and ready for the courses next year. So good evening everybody. This part of the video is going to tell us a little bit more about each section of the course. So you'll actually be taught by 3 different teachers in 3 separate areas. The section that I'm responsible for teaching is all about the anatomy and physiology of sport. So it's a bit like the biology of what happens when we're out on the playing field, why things happen, what happens inside our body and what affects when you perform. In the second year, of course, we then move on to a bit more sort of physics-based and chemistry-based subjects. So it becomes even more scientific, but again, it's very interesting and very factually based. So it really suited to anyone who's doing biology as one of their other courses.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Rowe and I teach the skill acquisition and sports psychology element of the A-Level course at the Gryphon. It's a really amazing part of the course. It marries together some of the things that you do in anatomy and physiology, and it makes you think about how you are as a performer. How do you get to end point as an elite performer? How did you start off in the beginning? So in year 1 we look at lots of different things linked to the skill. How do you gain skill as a performer? Also, how does that link to methods of practice? So how do coaches utilise their time to get the most out of a performer? And how do you develop your teams and groups to produce quality performances? In year 2, we then look a little bit more about the decision making. So how does your brain get the information from your display or your environment to be able to make the decisions that you need to pick the right responses to different situations that you see? How do they do that at elite levels? Why is it that Cristiano Ronaldo can do those in a split second, but it takes others much longer times to respond to those different changing situations? And then also your memory, how does that play a part? How does stress affect our performances? And also, how do you put all of that information together, and how does a performer tick? How does their personality affect their ability to perform on the pitch?
Hi there, my name is Mr. Burley and I teach the Sport and Society section of the A-Level course. I think my section is really interesting because in the first year we learn all about the history of sport right back to the Industrial Revolution, and we also learn about everything that's happening around us today, including technology and racism and hooliganism and all that sort of thing. In the second year we learn a lot about drugs and a lot about how PE works and how sport works. And in general, I think it's a really good section to study because it's all about what's happening around us in society. So things are constantly changing and things are constantly there to talk about.
So what advice would you give a year 11 student looking to do A-Level PE?
The best advice I would give is be interested in the sport, because you're going to be graded on that sport when you do your coursework. You're going to be assessed in competition how well you play in that sport.
The best piece of advice I could give is to stay organised. Of the 3 different sections, there's quite a lot of notes that you need to be taking and stuff, so staying organised will give you the best possible chance of doing well.
The advice I'd give is that if you're thinking of doing other subjects linked to it, biology and psychology link really well. There's lots of crossover in the courses.
So what does the future hold in terms of studying sport?
So in terms of studying sport, I'm hoping to go to university and study sports performance analysis.
For me, I'm hoping to study sports and exercise science or sports and exercise medical science at university, and I also continue my own performance at uni as well.
I want to do human biology at university, which links to sport really well.
So what do you enjoy most about the A-Level PE course?
I enjoy the sociological side of the course. I like being able to link my sport to my everyday life, looking how it interlinks with the world.
I enjoy the psychological side of the course because I find it interesting to understand how the mindset can influence how they perform, and I like to link that to my own performance as well.
I like the anatomy and physiology side of the course because I like biology and I find it interesting to learn how biology links to sport.